Hi, this is Erin from BLOSSYBTAS. Welcome to my channel. The plan for this video is to create some fridge magnets using polyurethane resin and some fun UV DTF decals. I'm also going to trial an alternative to using UV resin to dome them. If you haven't yet entered the competition to win that box of gorgeous mica powder pigments from Solid Solutions, I'll give you some more information as we go. I've chosen to use polyurethane resin for these as I'm going to be doing them in two parts, so it just speeds everything up. It's Solid Solutions solid cast polyurethane resin. It's a 1:1 ratio and it is a lot of fun to use. I'm just showing you, I'm going to be using the Interference Blue, which is the pearlescent mica powder from Solid Solutions. And the polyurethane resin, you've got about a 2-minute maximum pot time, and you've got 15 minutes only until it's cured. So it starts off an amber colour and then it turns to a whiter colour. So what I'm doing is I'm mixing the pigment powder into just one half. Doesn't matter, I haven't found any difference if you do it in part A or part B. It both seems the same, but it does cut down the stirring time and allows you to get started quickly, because as soon as you add in the other part A or part B, it virtually starts curing in your hand while you're stirring. You'll feel it get very, very hot. Whereas at the moment, I'm able to spend my time, make sure that the colorants are dissolved and that it's mixing in nice and smoothly. I'm happy with the added colouring. It's time now to measure in the second part, whether it's A or B. And as I mentioned, it just has never made a difference to me which way I go. And then basically you are on a timer. So I've got a whole lot of different moulds there in front of me. I'm not sure which ones I'm going to be using, or all of them maybe. And now I'm stirring this, and I can absolutely promise you that it was starting to get very warm in my hand. Even in less than a minute stirring, it is already starting that curing process. So I just go ahead and add it into each of the moulds, and that's really all there is to it. You will find that after, maybe another 60 seconds, it becomes almost too hot to hold and it will get very thick, and then that's the end. You've done it. And it's not like eco casting powder or epoxy resin, where as it gets close to curing, you can sometimes add a little bit more, or, get it go. See, look at that. It's barely dripping out for that one. No, you've got a definite cut off and I've reached it. Time for the next batch, and this time I'm using Lilac from the same range, and I'm hoping to get a really pretty paler lavender colour. And remember, the colour that you see with this, it's always going to be paler because it's curing as a whitish colour, cream to white. So you're diluting the colour down naturally. I actually love how the colour looks right now, but I know it's going to be much lighter, and I need it to be much lighter because I'm going to be putting UV DTF decals onto them, and I need to make sure that they don't have too dark a background so that you can actually see them quite clearly. So just about 15 minutes later, I am ready to demould, and I did demould these ones off screen. There's the 3 little hearts, and then I had some lilac coloured squares out of that little square mould. So they're looking really good. But then I decided I'm not going to demold anything else because I'm going to be using these UV DTF decals, and I really don't love doming with UV resin or, putting on a protective top coat. So I'm going to try and use normal resin while they're still in the mold. So that's the plan. Off screen, because of my hand is not really good with cutting at the moment, off screen I have cut and separated each of them into a unique decal, and now I'm just going to start going through and peeling back the adhesive so I can pop them down on. And of course I'll go through this part quite quickly. There are a few times where you'll see I lift up the top protective sheet and some of the decal hasn't transferred, and so I put it down and give it a little rub, and usually that will solve the problem. Unfortunately, the one with the little coffee cup on the top row of where I'm working now, when I went to lay it back down, it just never matched up again. So that one's a dud. That's okay. This happens. These UTF decals are ones that I have custom designed myself using images from Creative Fabrica, and I have downloaded them into a software program that my UV DTF printer supplies, and I've sized them, cropped them, sometimes combining ones exactly how I want, and I love being able to do that. Down the bottom left you'll see that little scruffy animal one. That was one I purchased from Temu, but all of the others are ones that I've designed and ordered myself. So I'm really happy with how they're looking, and it doesn't take too long to get these all laid down. And then of course I need to bring in the ones that I demolded before I had this, what I feel like could be a genius idea, I'm not quite sure yet, but to dome them with epoxy resin. I'm going to bring those ones in and put decals on those, and then they will actually need to have a coating of UV resin over them. I have domed with epoxy resin before, but I find you just run the risk of, a little bit trickling over when you're not looking, and, you can wake up the next day to a bit of a mess. So at least UV resin gives you a very quick result that you can be confident in. So for the lilac-y coloured ones, I'm going to use some Australian animals, and then for the white hearts I'm going to use some beautiful honeybees that I have a whole range of. And here we go. So I'm super happy with how they are going to look. So I've ended up with, I guess, 3 different parts to this series. I've got coffee related ones, I've got honeybees, and I've got Australian native animals. They really are looking so cute, and all that I have left to do is to pop a magnet onto the back of each of them. And just before I do that, I wanted to talk to you about the amazing competition that I'm running for Australian subscribers. So Solid Solutions, which is the company that makes those beautiful mica powders I'm using, are giving my Australian subscribers a chance to win a box of 24 mica pigments. And you have a very easy way of entering. So first, subscribe to my channel. Second, go to my video number 158, and there's a picture of it there on the screen, and leave a comment. Now in that comment also add the word mica and your Australian postcode. if you're outside of Australia and you know someone who is an Aussie who you would like to gift the set to, if you were the winner, you are also welcome to leave their postcode there. And there'll be a random draw on Wednesday the 4th of February at 9 p.m. Tasmanian time. So I'd love you to hop over to that video number 158 where I did the sea salt in resin and comment on that to go into the draw. Now it's magnet time, so I'm using E6000 and these disc magnets, and I'm going to just separate the magnets because they, you know, if you know, you know, they're magnetic, so they stick to each other. And they also do, I was just showing you there on my finger, they have this sort of black residue, but I always make sure that I clean them after I've done this step. I wipe the back so that that isn't on there at all. And all I'm doing is I'm taking a little bit of the E6000 and popping it on the back and pushing it down. And oh, I'm just loving these. They're nice big ones too. I do like a good size magnet for my own fridge. Now these are going straight over to a cafe that two of my very dear friends own, and they are allowing me to display some items for sale in there. So it's very exciting for me. So that's why I have got the coffee theme going. And I also have the dog, you know, a few little doggy coffee ones in there too, because it's just such a gorgeous cafe. It's called True Brew in Kingston in Tasmania, and it's extremely family and dog friendly, and it's right next to our beautiful playground in the centre of the city. And yeah, so I'm hoping that these ones are suitable or attractive to or desired by, whatever way you would like to say, to people that visit the cafe. And I'm using the back, they've got a gorgeous, like a drinks refrigerator with these really beautiful drinks in it. And so I've got the back of that as my real estate for magnets. I love just having them all organised on there too. They're just pretty. So this is the end result. These are the larger purple ones. We've got the whitish cream here, and then the smaller purple ones. And then, of course, we've got those gorgeous little honeybees. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I really appreciate your company, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye for now.